A very good morning to you, Nigerians, and thanks for joining us on U45 Morning Show. Of course, U45 Morning Show is your current affairs program and super screen that keeps you abreast of happenings in politics, business, and other socio-economic activities of life. I'm Adeleke Uweye Ajiboye.
I am Osagi Solomon Wilfred. Good morning.
And I'm Patience Willie. Welcome to the U45 Morning Show.
Of course, you know how we do it on U45 Morning Show. Today, we want to take a closer look at the menace of illicit drug in Nigeria. It appears there's a prevalence, it continues to grow, and this is a cause of concern for many Nigerians, such that even on Wednesday it was a subject of debate at the upper chamber, where the senators are now calling on the federal government, of course on the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to declare a state of emergency on illicit drugs in Nigeria. Well, we will find out how that will be. Whether the president will do this, only time will tell. Yes, so let's now go into the dailies. What are the dailies saying this morning? And we will begin quickly with the Punch newspaper. And on the Punch newspaper, it says CBN investigator probes banks over 1.27 trillion naira intervention funds. Well, that story you would find, of course, on the Punch newspaper. Other stories, of course, this also comes with a rider which says, there's another headline which says, NNPCL marketers disagree over supply as queues spread. That story you'll find, the writer says, no supply from NNPCL for over 1 month. Ex-depot price hits 605 naira. That is according to Ipman. Another headline here reads, resists drug cartels temptation. Mara tells NDLEA officials. These and many more you will find on the Punch newspaper.
And on to the Vanguard newspaper. It says, FG Labor's deal under threat. NLC accuses Lalong of violation. And that's on page 5 of the Vanguard. The writer says, federal government never negotiated in good faith, vows to resist attempts to foist new leadership on NURTW, insists government's failure to fully implement agreements will lead to nationwide strike. That's on page 5 of the Vanguard. And still on the Vanguard, it says Israeli-Hamas war, Sharia Council, CAN, PFN, disagrees over Nigeria's role. That's on page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper. Still on the Vanguard newspaper, it says customers' deposits in bank rise 56.6% to 75.7 trillion naira, and that's on page 19 of the Vanguard newspaper.
And on the Nigerian Tribune, the first headline says, Tinubu Supreme Court hears Atiku Obi APM's appeal October 23. That can be found on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune. And then there's a story that says Ohaneze backs amnesty for gunmen to stop killings, destruction in Southeast. That can be found on page 12 of the Tribune. There's another story that says NLC accuses Labour Minister of partiality in handling NURTW crisis. That can be found on page 4 of the National Tribune. There's another story that says FG to close 3rd mainland bridge on Saturday and Sunday, page 4. That is going to cause a lot of traffic. FG, the federal government is closing the 3rd mainland bridge on Saturday and Sunday. That's the news on Tribune.
That's quite serious. I only hope that we are prepared for this, because even when the 3rd mainland bridge is not being closed, we see the kind of traffic experience and
Yes.
you know Lagos being a business-filled activity state, you begin to wonder, and that this is another horrible time for
Yes.
Lagos residents. But I'm sure that they would have come up with other routes that can be used. But it's just that it's all about management.
Yeah, it is, and I think that's why probably the government decided to choose the weekends because of the rush hour during the week.
Wow.
I
hope,
weekend.
aside from the weekend, I
Yes.
hope they find a permanent solution to the Third Mainland Bridge issue, because it's been going on for years. I just hope this will be the final solution to it.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. This is not the first time that they are working on that road. It all boils down to the contractors. That's a major challenge with us as a people in Nigeria. You remember that the Minister of Works recently came out to say that he would deal with all contractors and even civil servants that delay work, contributing to the delay of construction work.
Okay.
It's all about corruption still, because they feel that if they just do a shabby job,
Yes.
at the end of the day, it's going to spoil in time, so they will call them again for another contract. And I think this is an attitude that should be shunned. I also like the attitude and the energy the new minister is brought on board, which is trying to tell us that he's going to be frank. And this is the kind of individual we need. The need for people to sit up and do what is expected of them, irrespective of whose ox is God.
Which is very, very important.
Absolutely, I agree with you on that.
important.
All right, let's quickly take the New Telegraph. The headline on a major headline on New Telegraph reads, 891 dismissed, withdrawn petitions, prove 2023 polls credible. This is according to INEC, and that story is on page 2 and page 4 of New Telegraph. And the writer also reads, releases petition status report on election, says petitioners mostly challenge eligibility. Candidates nomination, not post conduct. Supreme Court to hear Atiku Obi's appeals against Tinubu's victory on Monday. Patience, what do you think? I mean, this is one case a lot of Nigerians are really eager to know the end of the case. We remember that Atiku continues to say that he's not going to, agree to just keeping quiet. He would continue to fight his right, and he also called many Nigerians to also stand up and fight for the nation's integrity.
He's on the right course, because he is going as far as getting all the certificates and proving. No, the court actually has the final say, but he has evidences to prove that the certificates are not genuine. I pray and I hope that our Supreme Court will do justice to this case.
Exactly, justice.
Yeah, absolutely. I must commend Atiku for his tenacity towards getting to the truth concerning this case, or getting to how far he has gotten to with this case. And then hopefully we hope our judicial system will be fair enough to pass the right judgment concerning this case.
Well, passing the right judgment, you all know that, of course, Nigerians are actually divided on their views in regards to the president's certificate and the fact that the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, is still bent on ensuring that the truth is out. Some other people feel that since he has become the president, there's no need for any individual to keep clamoring for what is right. But the question you want to ask yourself is, and I keep pondering about, is, as a parent, let's just take it as a parent. As a parent, you send your child, or as a guardian, you send your word to school, and eventually he or she goes and falsified the certificate. I'm just I'm wondering, how would an average parent feel or guardian? Are you saying that because, oh yeah, as long as he's been able to find his way in school with the lecturers and he got the certificate approved, then let's leave him. Let's not make noise about it, so that because we don't know what the other person is doing. Is this how we will continue as a society?
It's not right. It's not right. We should lead by examples as government officials, as parents. We should lead by examples. This was not the norm in Africa, in Nigeria. In the past, they'll tell you, remember the family you come from. Exactly. Remember your name. Honor the name of your family. And honor, we should go back to honor. We should learn how to honor and do the things that are right. Always. Parents should lay good precedents for their children. Leaders should lay good precedents for the citizenry, so that this country will be a better place.
I think anyone who, doesn't see anything wrong with this, I mean, it just shows our moral values, as a people, as a nation, I mean, you should be pained. Nigerians in diaspora, they are clamoring, they have been affected, they are what's it called now? Their honor is dented,
integrity,
that's
integrity,
the word.
Yes,
it's dented. Things are being double checked, certificates are being double checked.
International abroad.
Yes, we have friends in diaspora and they communicate with us and they tell us that look, these things are becoming stiff, all because of what has happened in this nation.
I mean, to a number one citizen of the country, I think this really calls for concern, and we really need to get justice, just like our patients has advocated, because this is the only way that the identity of Nigeria
will be redeemed.
Exactly, will be redeemed.
Yes.
All right, another headline on the New Telegraph says, loss of confidence in judiciary recipe for anarchy. This is according to Chief Judge Soho, and the writer reads, reps urge the federal government to appoint 9 Supreme Court justices. The story is on page 3 and page 5 of New Telegraph. Just what we are talking about, patients. The same story now. It said loss of confidence in the judiciary. I mean, we need to build confidence in the judiciary. Just when a corruption creeps into the judiciary, then you begin to wonder how you get justice. Why would we then say you want to go to the court of law? And I think the judiciary needs to do a lot. They need to come up and ensure that they redeem their image in the eyes of not just Nigeria, but of course beyond the nation.
Yes.
And on to the matrix. It says, unveiled, meet the Supreme Court justices that will decide Atiku Obi's case. The writer says, Apex Court fixes date for hearing on Atiku's petition against Tinubu. Reps urge federal government to appoint new Supreme Court judges. And that's on page 2 of the matrix. Still on the matrix, it says Tinubu withdraws Farmers Chairman appointment. That's on page 10. Pension asset grows by 15%, hits 17.29 trillion naira. That's on page 16 on the matrix.
And now on the Daily Trust, the main story says industry's battle for survival as dollar hits 1,155 naira.
My goodness.
Yes. This is the worst we've had in Nigeria.
And I can assure you this might not just be the worst, because we don't know what is ahead or what is at stake. I mean, we were complaining when it rose from 400, 700 to 800. Nigerians are shouting crying.
Yes.
And now it is 1,155. 55.
Yes.
1,155.
And now there's an implication to this, because there's a writer that says, under the major story, that says companies relocating to Ghana, retrenching. That is, textile manufacturers are beginning to relocate their companies to Ghana, and they're also retrenching their staffs, which is very sad for our economy. And then there's another one.
Are you also aware that a lot of Nigerian companies in Nigeria now move to South Africa?
Yes.
And this is quite worrisome. And you also see that the electricity in recent time also is becoming very poor.
Epileptic.
Yes, it started well when the new administration came in, and people were giving kudos to the president and his team, but as it appears now, it seems there's a challenge again with electricity. So just how would you convince investors to come into your country and invest when we do not have stable power supply? And what people have been clamoring for before now is the need for the government to, of course, provide or create an enabling environment where businesses can thrive. But up until now, we still merry-go-round in the same circle.
Aside from electricity, how would they get here when one-way flight tickets may hit 130,000 naira on the Daily Trust? That's what it says. One of the riders, it says one-way tickets may hit 130,000 naira. So we're not looking at electricity alone right now. We're looking also at transportation. It's all encompassing.
Absolutely. I have a friend who works with one of the airlines, and he told me recently that they have just one functioning airline. From their fleet of aircraft, just one functioning airline. Aircraft, that is, flying their Nigerian routes. And it's so unfortunate. They've lost staff, the company is retrenching, their workers. So many things are happening.
And then we also talk about insecurity in the country. Our roads are not even safe. Not even talking about the maintenance of the road. Now, even talking about bandits and all of these terrorists are still there to battle with. And that's why a lot of people now take flight. Even if you're going to Abuja. You're going to go via flight.
And then the price
and then now it has increased.
Yes.
What is going to happen? Because it means that these criminals will not have a field day.
Absolutely.
The chief of security has to look into this. All the ministers have to have
the
their hands on deck.
Police
also
has a lot of work to do. Well, viewers, I think this is all we're going to have on the dailies. Ensure that you buy them so that you can be abreast of happenings in your country, because we are all working towards having a good Nigeria. And if we want to have the Nigeria of our dreams, then it means that we also have to keep ourselves abreast of what is happening, so we know just how we begin to tackle our challenges as a nation. Well, right about now, we will take a short break, and when we return, it will be time for us to look at the growing growing menace of illicit drug in Nigeria. We want to look at the causes, the concerns, and solutions to this very menace. So, stay with us.
What up, guys? How's your day going? How are you doing this? I want to believe that you're having fun, right? This bright and sunny day. You know that once you see this duo on your TV screen, we're here to serve you some entertainment.
And of course, entertaining gist coupled with good music won't hurt anybody, right? So here on Super Lunch, we get to entertain you, educate you on recent happenings in the world of entertainment. I am your girl, Eva Grace.
And I am Shegun Delala Adeyemi, the Duke of your airwaves. You know how it is. We serve you good entertainment Mondays all through to Fridays. And that's how we do. We'll take you on a smooth ride of entertainment. So don't go nowhere. Join us every Mondays to Fridays. We love you guys.
Welcome to Naija Plus. Make you not touch that there, make your finger for no. Wetin be your plan for your country, and wetin you sef want make your country do for you. You need to give something before you take something. Now the only way matter fit balance. Not be say fowl no plan to fly you, but the power no carry am. As matter dey shele for inside Naija, make you sef chook your mouth, make we build our country. Not be every time we go talk things bad. Come out for that corner before mosquito bite your tortoise. Oh yeah, it get as it happen for your area and you want make plenty IC and make it a year and make it for reach authority. You get video of the scene, send them sharp. Before I forget, now top super screen with them and my name now Mr. Peace, that MC with a biggie swag. Now Jana for everybody. Make you not touch that there and make your finger for now.
There's no place for pretense. I can't watch you standing. Oh no.
Ó ta lẹ́nu, ó pọ̀ lẹ́nu, ó dùn lẹ́nu. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni o, ó ta lẹ́nu, ó pọ̀ lẹ́nu, ó dùn lẹ́nu. Yusuf Mọ́rúnsọ́lá ní orúkọ ti tèmi Funky ọmọ ẹ̀lẹ̀ tó gbásìkì tó dùn tó kí tó yí gbogbo. Ẹ pàdé mi ní gbogbo ọjọ́ Thursday 8:30 to 9:30 àti gbogbo ọjọ́ Saturday 1 to 2 fún ètò tó ga jù. Ẹ má miss ẹ̀, ó ga jù lẹ́tò. Ẹ pàdé mi, ó ṣàprápra.
Lẹ́nu ó pọ̀ lẹ́nu ó dùn lẹ́nu. Come what I cannot do.
Family ties, a thorn in the flesh.
We need to remove him, otherwise we are going to be in trouble. You must kill him today, not tomorrow. Today!
There's a handsome prize on your head. And if you can top it, you walk free.
She's even awake. She's awake?
Will you stop that? And don't you dare repeat that again.
What is she doing?
I don't know.
My son is nowhere to be found and you asked me to relax. I can't.
So we're not going to eat?
You have to eat. Look at you. So you actually want to eat that food?
The way this food is smelling, I think it's really going to be delicious.
Oh my son! Oh my son!
What are you doing here?
I will not let you send her out.
She's your rival, you know.
I know she's your wife, and I know it's not right for you to treat her like that.
You heard me. Send yourself out before I come back to this house.
High Chief Major General Jones. Good evening.
What is good about this evening? Huh?
What happened now?
Don't mind them. You're not going anywhere. You stay.
Please. Please. What are you doing out of bed?
I needed a drink. You could have called me.
I'm not the father of a thief. And that is what your son is. A thief. Stole the document to my house and sold it. And I swear, he's going to rot in jail.
It's okay, baby.
It's not okay.
Hello? Hello?
Family ties, a thorn in the flesh.
Because they fight all of them, it is always good to live in peace with our neighbor.
How old are you?
I'm 25.
Yay! 25 years.
When people from different backgrounds live together, there is bound to be disputes of boundaries, shared amenities. Your favorite TV comedy drama is now wearing a new look as Face to Face rebranded.
Hi, Ajani.
Yes, sir.
There is problem in the house. Your brother wife, they carry man, come house.
Lie. It not go happen. My brother wife. See, now me supposed to inherit that woman. Oh.
Baby Julian.
Baby
Julian. Baby.
Baby. Wait. I've been expecting this.
The man is.
I've been expecting this.
Starring your favorite star actors, Face to Face rebranded.
Mama Sule, if you don't get this, your rubbish off my precious baby now, I will throw it away.
Reach to the sky, ladies and gentlemen.
Demand attitude.
I am Salahuddin.
Demand excitement.
Demand action.
Well, it's so glad to have you back. Yes, she's still the U45 morning show. Like we told you earlier, that today we will take a closer look at the growing menace of illicit drug abuse in Nigeria. Illicit drugs, why has it continued to grow? What is this challenge about youths are always taking or abusing drugs? We need to look at this. And so we are now being joined by the Chief Superintendent of Narcotics, a National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, Lagos Command, Dick Aduni. You're welcome to Super.
Thank you.
To you for the morning show. And I must say, what is it about the colors? We're looking alike.
Well, it shows we have a
it shows like in spirits, and we are working together
to combat the abuse of drugs.
So let's go on this morning, combating drug abuse in Nigeria. So, of course, I'm aware, madam, that there are different reasons for which people abuse drugs, a part of which can be peer pressure, the feeling of loneliness, and you also want to talk about, because some people, it's been traced that it's a problem with the gene, it's a family history thing, and before you know it, you just can't explain the reason why you are abusing drugs. And some others have also, we've also found out that it is as a result of lack of education in regards to the kind of drugs that we take. A lot of people just go to pharmacy to get medicines that they do not know how dangerous it is, or the risks that are, inherent in some of these drugs. So, madam, tell us, of course, just Wednesday at the Red Chamber, the senators called for an emergency, the need for the federal government to declare a state of emergency on drug abuse in Nigeria. So, what's your take on this?
Well, I must tell you that drug use and abuse in our nation is something to really look into. Because if you look at the rate at which our young ones, the youth, who are actually the vibrant society, they're supposed to make a society vibrant, are taken to drugs. Yes, we are really looking into it, and you mentioned it, that the cause of some of those drugs may be genetics. Yes, you're right. You see, in the case whereby a pregnant woman is taking drugs while she was pregnant, what do you expect of that child? Definitely when that child is born, there's high tendency that that child will take into drug abuse. And then we have always advised parents to know the kind of friends their children keeps. They said, show me your friend and I'll tell you who you are. Exactly. So we as parents really need to look at that. It is very important. And then certain things need to be put in checks too.
Which are?
Which are, advertisements. Some of those youths, because of, maybe I should say that low self-esteem is whatever thing that they see that go by. If they have the self-esteem, they would have a mind of their own. But when they just watch some adverts and they want to practicalize, they want to do that thing, they want to be like that person, not knowing that advert is just a way of promoting their own business. So our youths fall into victim as a result of that.
Okay, but really, let's know how does drug abuse? I mean, really, because you just said when parents are taking, when a pregnant woman takes drugs, it is expected that the baby is likely to also take to drug abuse. But can you tell us how children abuse drugs, or how pregnant women abuse drugs? Because of course, if you go for antenatal, they prescribe drugs to you. So I need to be clear on that, and I'm sure the viewers need clarity on this.
Yes, when I talk about pregnant women, is because we talked about genetics, that's hereditary. Pregnant women, irrespective of whatever advice that is given to them during antenatal, so they have their life to live. Some of them smoke. Have you seen a pregnant woman who smokes? Pregnant women takes alcohol. All of these are effects that child will be a party to. So at times you look at drug use and abuse as not being the fault of the user. It may just be hereditary. Not all are hereditary though. There are some that are hereditary, there are some that are not. There are some that, due to frustration, lack of job and all of that. But we have always educated them on the fact that when you're taking a decision, when you're passing through a phase in life, you don't take drug abuse as a solace. Because even when you take that drug at that particular point in time, and then you forget the problem, when the drug wears off, it comes back to you. So it is just a temporary relief.
Yeah.
It's not a lasting solution. Because that drug you're taking is not putting food on your table. It's not bringing the job you are seeking for.
So you still get back to thinking.
So,
okay, we know that I have seen different artists, right? You see them on social media showing displaying how they smoke different kind of drugs in their hand and what have you, and you find out that because they have a huge fans base, these people tend to believe in this artist, not even minding what their background is, or whether some of them are school dropouts and what have you, or maybe the home that they come from, they just want to follow them. How has the social media, or how can we fight this battle on social media?
Well, I know that my agency organized program for artists, this so-called role model, and some of them are drug ambassador. So, it's possible for them to educate their colleagues, their fellow artists. It sinks more to them. So we make some of them drug ambassador for them to sell out. That's the gospel of drug abuse.
Okay, in passing a message, madam, before you write on, because I just remembered that a particular time you made one of the popular artists in Nigeria your ambassador. So I mean, I'm really interested in the criteria in which you use to select who your ambassadors are, because this is a person that we see even on public transport and what have you. He's displaying the use of Indian hemp, and we find out that he was still the same person that NDLEA brought out as their ambassador. How do you?
Well, the description, we have our discretions, and for the chairman, chief executive, National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, to look at that person and give him that title, that honor, he has his reasons. He has his reasons for doing that.
Okay, viewers, right about now, let's quickly take a listen to this very report. The Senate, what the senators are calling for. It was a debate on Wednesday precisely at plenary, and they called on the federal government to declare a state of emergency on drug abuse in Nigeria. Let's quickly take a listen to that, and we'll be right back. At the screening exercise of Ola Olukoyede and Muhammad Hamajoda as chairman and secretary of Some school of thoughts believe the major challenges confronting Nigeria as a nation is caused by poor leadership. How true is this? You and I can actually put government into tools to deliver the dividends of democracy. Join us every Saturday by 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Let us look at the issues confronting us as a nation. Together we talk heads. Nigeria can.
The urgent need for President Bola Tinubu to declare a state of emergency on drug abuse in Nigeria formed part of resolutions made by the lawmakers at plenary. This resolution is sequel to a motion on the growing menace of illicit drug use and other mind-altering substances across Nigeria. The sponsor of the motion, Senator Babangida Hussaini, had in his lead debate noted that Nigeria is presently facing a rise in drug abuse, which has reached an unprecedented level, transforming from a mere transit route in the 1990s into a country filled with drug abusers and drug traffickers.
Nigeria is currently facing a rise in drug abuse, which has reached an unprecedented level, transforming from a mere transit route in the 90s into a country filled with drug abusers and drug traffickers all over its land space. While a population of 30 to 35 million Nigerians spends approximately $15,000 and $30,000 annually on psychotropic drugs and alcoholic beverages, respectively. The Senate is also to note that according to a report by the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime and the European Union on Drug Use in Nigeria, about 14.3 million Nigerians between the ages of 15 and 64 are drug abusers. The consequences of drug abuse will continue to endanger our national development, public safety and family system if urgent action is not taken to strengthen existing legal, policy and institutional frameworks to face the challenges with all sense of responsibility.
Several lawmakers who contributed during the debate expressed worry over the use of mood-altering or psychoactive performance-enhancing drugs, dependency drugs, as well as abuse of prescription drugs.
We should, in my view, urge the president to lead the challenge. The president of the Federal Republic has to be urged to declare an emergency on this and to lead the national response to it. In every country where this has happened, and we are not alone, the Americans dealt with the opioid crisis. Anywhere you have this issue, the executive must take the lead. And in that context, Mr. President, I will suggest that we call for a declaration of emergency and urge the president to lead, and then we should have a national summit. We should have a national summit on this, so that all the stakeholders, NDLA, the police, the medical people, and the federal government itself, we will now listen to all of them, even beyond what we know, because we are not experts.
That unfortunately, the words of most of our elites are also affected. Fortunately, we have a leadership of NDLA that is very, very determined. Buba Marwa, General Buba Marwa retired, was our governor in Borno State. And all of us here know his determination and capacity and the effort he has put in this NDLA that has turned it around and even given the institution an international recognition. But he is handicapped. He is handicapped. I discussed with him severally. And coincidentally, this is the time to help him. This is the time to get the committee that this Senate has created to sit down with the leadership of the NDLA to know what they need in terms of resources, tools, or whatever, in order to face this war squarely.
My dear colleagues, it's a serious matter. We need to really wake up from it's a sad commentary on the way things are done in this country. Very, very sad comment. A big nation that human capital now is number one. in whatever you think. Any war, any country, in the whole world, any country, human capital is what is in the front burner, is what drives, good economy. And we have an abundant population, beautiful population, and we're allowing it to get destroyed through, intake of illicit drugs. It's something that we need to all put our hands together.
A lot has to be done by families if we have to bring this situation under control. And I think it's what Senator Dixon said, that we have reached a point of national emergency. We should convoke a national discourse on narcotics. And then at the end of it, we should come up to this chamber as legislators to formulate policies and possible legislations that can cope this situation and bring sanity to the society.
The Senate subsequently resolved to, among others, employ the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NAFDAC, Federal Ministry of Health, and other relevant government institutions to intensify efforts towards curbing the alarming consumption of mburummeri and kokura, which are prevalent in the southern and northern parts of the country. The upper also directed its Committee on NAFDAC, Drugs and Narcotics to liaise with relevant federal government agency to converge a national summit on the state of drugs and narcotics abuse in the country.
Where you saw the senators, the lawmakers, calling on the federal government to declare a state of emergency on drug abuse in Nigeria. Madam, let me first ask, what's your take on this? I mean, since drug abuse, continues to grow.
Yeah, I must say that there is a need to really go by the having the advocacy for state emergency. It is really a good way to go by.
Madam, one of the impacts of the abuse of drugs is that it affects the mental health of individuals and abusers. So, what ways can the stakeholders tackle and help the mental health of individuals who have been victims of drug abuse?
Drug abuse is known as a brain disease because whatever effects of the drug use is exerted in the brain. And since it's the brain that sends signals to the body, whatever thing that we're doing, it is first of all processed in the brain. And so what I will say here is that there should be an opportunity for drug users to access treatment. And treatment should be made affordable for drug users. Drug abuse is just like every other illness, like maybe hypertension, like diabetes, that when they notice they have that problem, they go to the hospital. I think the same thing should be done to drug user too, because it's a brain disease. They need help.
Okay. I agree with you that they need help.
Okay, recently I saw a video whereby the young minds were having a party, and the people that went for the party never knew that the drink that they were going to take has been mixed, and eventually he took it. What we saw was two of them started misbehaving, said some assaulting and all that. Eventually they brought again, they now showed us what the group of organizers of the party did, and mixed different contents and gave to these ignorant students who came to the party. My concern is, how as NDLEA, how do we begin to improve our education, our drug education in schools, higher institutions?
Drug education has been taken even to the primary school. Before now, we were looking at the tertiary institution, but with the increase, of drug use and abuse in our society, we've taken sensitization to the secondary school, to the primary school. Because even in primary school, you see they do all of those things. And I said something earlier. I said, who are your friends? What kind of party? When you're attending a party, you already know the group of people organizing the party. You know what they can do. You understand? It's not in all parties that they do this. You find out that in some parties, even the cake that they lace it with drugs.
True.
But I want to tell you that when you know the kind of party, it's not every party that you attend. It's not every party. When you have noticed a questionable character with somebody, you should be able to predict. And that is why we talk to young ones that it's not everything you see with your friend that you collect and take. Especially you see somebody carrying a bottle of drink,
water,
or even
a bottle of Coke or something.
A bottle of Coke.
It's laced with,
they lace it with so many things. They put substances in it. So as NDLEA, we have always told the students, you must know whatever thing you are ingesting. You trust yourself alone. You can't trust the other person. So you have to be very careful with whatever thing that you're eating.
Okay, let me say, viewers, you can also have your say on U45 Morning Show, and the number to call is 080-6133-7914. I'll take it again, 080-6133-7914. So, have your say.
But, madam, I have a question that I think should be addressed. We've been talking about the stakeholders, the agencies, one aspect that is not being talked about is family. Okay. What is the role of parents and family in fighting or curbing the abuse of drugs?
Well, the family have a very great role to play. Okay. We talk to parents. In as much as parents, as families, we have to work. We need to strike a balance. As those children are growing up, they are inquisitive, they want to ask so many questions. So when the parents are not available to attend to their questions at that particular point in time, whatever thing they hear from the outside is what they do. So as parents, as families, we must be ready to listen to them. Let's start from there. You must be ready to listen to them. You must be ready to provide response to questions bothering them. And so when you have done that, you have played your role. And when those children go to school, you don't just leave them all by themselves. Once in a while, the parents go into the school, find out the character of the children. At times you see those children, they are very quiet at home. But when they get out there, they become something else. If a parent is available for that child, it is very easy for that parent to dictate this on time. And when it is dictated in time, it's better managed.
Okay, madam, I think we have a call. There's a caller. Good morning. Good morning. Hello? Hello? Okay, I think we lost that call. Please write on.
Okay, that's it. So as parents, we have a role to play. We have a role to play.
Okay, yes, as parents, we'll have a role to play, but of course, it's not always very certain that because of a busy schedule, the need to make money and what have you, most parents, of course, have neglected their duty. And of course, we know that the school is also a place where parents also, rely on to help them give their children the right. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. My name is Garuba. I am coming from Igando.
Okay, Garuba. Okay, right on. You're calling from where?
I am coming from Igando. My name is Garuba.
Okay, Garuba is calling from Igodo. Igodo. I think it's Igodo.
Good morning for the studio. Good morning, Superintendent of Nakode.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, I want to ask the cashier. I say, are you sure that a lot of the people that want to make the law for the state of emergency, are you sure they are not part of the people taking the drug? And I want to find out if you have a task force to go around Lagos and other parts of the country you know where the drug is, so you can make sure the drug is not on the street. As the one other thing, you have to make sure the policy, because the economic advantage of this drug is on one side, because a lot of countries they make money from drugs. So how are you going to make sure that we use this advantage to improve the economy? Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. Madam, did you get the question very well? I think first he was saying that how are we sure that the people calling for state of emergency themselves do not engage in drug abuse? And how certain are we that indeed they will fight drug abuse, truly?
For them to be clamoring for state of emergency, it shows that they value lives. Exactly. And for them to talk of that, it means they know the dangers inherent in this. And so we can agree with them that they are not drug users too.
Madam, even if they are, the utmost concern basically should be about how do we save the society. How do we save the society? So it means that even if they're doing it, they've also come to the realization that it is not good for their health. So they need to talk to young minds. I hope that answers your question. Okay.
Recently the chairman of the agency, retired Colonel Buba Marwa, was addressing the new recruits, and he charged them, not to play ball with the cartel. So I think as an agency, what are the challenges that you are faced with this cartel? Because they seem to be some of the most powerful groups and individuals, in the country, and they tend to be the one pushing this stuff around. So what has NDLEA done or is planning to do to curb these challenges of the cartel?
NDLEA has always go after them, and anyone who is caught is used as a scapegoat. What the Chairman, Chief Executive Officer, National Drug Law Enforcement Agency is advocating for now is a stiffer punishment for them. When there is a stiffer punishment, I think this will go a long way in making them desist from that act.
Have we had cases where drug enforcement agencies have been kind of tempted or cajoled into
aiding and abetting?
Yes, some of this cartel. Is that what the chairman is also trying to say?
Well, for recruits who are just coming in, they're just coming in from the outside.
Okay, so they have some of these temptations.
Of course. So that is the reason that the chairman is giving them that advice.
Okay.
If after this advice, any one of them is caught, that means they are putting their job on the line.
Okay, before we write on, of course, the Chief Executive Officer of NDLEA, talking about Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa, retired, came out to say some of the plans of NDLEA and what is expected of individuals to do to also save Nigeria. I'd like us to quickly take a listen to that, and we'll be right back.
The 31st meeting will indeed provide an opportunity for us to raise the bar and break new grounds in different areas of our operations and collaborative efforts. I am as excited as a lot of us in this hall are to make presentations, listen to others, and share experiences that will positively shape our operations and redefine our cooperation at the end of this conference.
Okay, madam, yes. speaking there. Also charging over 2,000 personnel that were trained to stand firm and, of course, wage war against drug traffickers and what have you. We want to know, in Lagos State, how are you combating this very menace?
I am very sure that you've been hearing about Lagos State Command. We are on our toes, we're on our feet to make sure that we fight this war, if not eradicated completely, to the barest minimum. And that is the reason you hear some areas in Lagos that will tell you, oh, nobody goes there. But I must tell you that Lagos State Command officials have been able to bug those places. And I know that we're working and we'll continue to work.
Okay, I would have loved to also ask some of the risks you also face in doing this job, but of course we'll talk about that before we'll let you go. However, the role of religious organizations, cannot be overemphasized. They are doing a lot, but we also want you to speak to them this morning, how they can also continue to do more in such a way that we are winning the war against drug abuse in Nigeria.
NDLEA alone cannot fight this war, and that is why we have stakeholders, among which are religious leaders. We have the media, just as we are here now.
And
we have the traditional rulers. So all of us have to come together. In the religious setting, they have programs for their members too. And so I really want to urge them to continue to do more. I want to urge the community leaders to continue, because this thing is in our society and it's affecting us, whether we like it or not. Even when I am not doing it and I walk past a place where it is done, I tell you, I am also a passive smoker. Because for me to inhale it, it means I am a passive smoker. I'm equally at risk. So we really need to sanitize our society. And for us to do this, our community leaders...
Okay, we have a call. Good morning.
Good morning.
Tell us your name and tell us where you're calling from. Welcome to U45 Morning Show.
My name is Osan.
Okay.
I'm calling from Ikeja, Lagos State.
All right, so what's your take?
I want to quickly ask the NDLEA officer a question.
This writer?
Some men are always shooting and killing innocent people. Anytime they go out for reading. Did you hear me? Let me come again.
Come again, yeah.
The NDLEA, they are always killing innocent people and shooting as if we are in a war zone. Anytime they go out for reading. Why are they always doing that?
Okay, you have a question. He's asking that why do
I want to disagree with that. NDLEA officers don't shoot at people anyhow. Even if there's a mob attack on our officers, NDLEA officers shoot in the air. They don't shoot at any human being. And for us to shoot into the air is for us to gain access to be able to move out of that vicinity. So NDLEA don't just kill people anyhow.
Okay, I hope, does that answer your question? Are you there? Okay, I think we lost him. That's a big concern if truly, but how do you monitor that? Because for the caller, it might be as a result of an experience, what he has seen that he's speaking from.
So many people speak, they don't really know what they are saying, actually. It may be other law enforcement agency, I don't know about that, but what I know about NDLEA is that as much as possible in our operations, we, as much as possible, try not to gun down anybody. That's why I said we shoot in the air. We shoot in the air, and of course, when bullet is coming down, it loses power. So even when it hits, it cannot have effect.
Talking about, I think this is connected to the risk.
Okay, sorry, Solomon, we have a call. Welcome to U45 Morning Show. Please tell us your name and write on with your question.
My name is Johnson.
Your name is what?
Johnson.
Johnson. Okay, Johnson, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Ikorodu.
Ikorodu. Okay, Johnson, right on with your question. Have you say?
Okay, I want to ask you again. What is the main duty of the NDLA? Because sometimes the way they carry out their duty seems like they are more, they do more like what these police officers, normally do. Because they do illegal trading and then, end up, arresting innocent people, and at the end of the day, they end up creating more havoc in society instead of trying to create an equal society.
Okay, did you get the question? He said he really wants to know the duty of NDLEA, that sometimes it appears as though NDLEA does the same thing the police are doing in such a way that some of them engage in illegal, they engage in illegal activity, unapproved duty, and that he has also seen where they also shoot someone. And that, of course, you ended by saying that NDLEA is meant to, bring peace and ensure that, it's a law-abiding society. But at the end of the day, they end up causing havoc. That's the word he used.
Well, I don't know about what he's saying, but I will say what I know. NDLA, what we do is curbing drug use menace in the society. And in doing that, the NDLA is saddled with supply suppression. It is in the supply suppression aspect that they go out for raid. And when there's a raid, if you're found in a vicinity and there's a raid, every individual in that vicinity is arrested.
Is a suspect. Okay.
Yes. When they are taken to the office, that is where sorting begins. Sorting begins after the statement. It's from the statement of each individual that we know where to place them. For some, they are referred for counseling. Maybe the sellers, maybe the users. No, not the seller, the users here now, the users. Because the sellers, they are guilty. But the users are sick people. So when they are sorted out, we take those that are supposed to be prosecuted to court. And that depends on the judgment the court is giving. So for somebody saying that he has seen where NDLEA shoots, I don't know about that. I know that when we have a very, very serious, I don't know, maybe the word serious this time, is when we have operation that we need to involve other military and paramilitary agencies, we do that. So I don't know what he's saying about NDLEA being...
Okay, based on what the last caller, the question asked, I would like to know, how do you check some of your officials to ensure that they are doing what is legally expected of them?
There is no operation that is carried out without the knowledge of the office. The superior officer in charge knows about the operation. And for him to know about the operation, that means he has to put his officers on check. As a matter of fact, any operation we're carrying out now, the approval comes from the national headquarters in Abuja. So there is nothing we do that the national headquarters is not aware. Okay. The chairman, chief executive officer is aware of every activity that goes on in every state command.
Okay, I must say that, recently, of course, we saw where some law enforcement agents, barged into the house of an artist, and eventually, I think it was a false attack, but eventually the so-called artist came out on social media to make noise about it, then caused officials of that particular agency, and the agency denied that they do not know anything about it. And they dared him to come up with an evidence and then he released the footage where we now saw these agents, that indeed they went to his house in the middle of the night. I'm just trying to look at the last question, where yes, as an authority, you can say that you do not know that some of your officials engage in these activities, and whereby in the actual fact they do. So how? Because it's really important for us to know how you've checked that, because there's no way a discipline or a job can be. You always have bad eggs. I hope you agree with me.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that. But I don't have much to say on that, actually. Anyway,
I must say that the NDLE is doing a good job. We saw where a particular man recently, even EFCC, all of the agencies involved, they are doing a good job. We see a lot of drug traffickers being arrested, being disgraced on a daily basis. But then again, I would want you to also talk to viewers how dangerous the use of drugs is, and also the punishment that comes with it when being arrested.
Well, to the viewers, I must urge you that drug use and abuse is injurious to health. It is best desist for everyone to desist from it. And for those that have gotten themselves into it, I want to say this morning that all hope is not lost. They can seek help. We have rehabilitation centers, and we have a good number of people who have come out of drugs, and they are doing really good now. So viewers, please stay away from drugs. It damages the internal organs, damages the central nervous system. And when the central nervous system is damaged, what happens? And that's the reason we have high rates of people with mental health problem on our streets.
Okay, on the fact, what about the prosecution? If eventually you are arrested, how does the prosecution looks like? What does the law says about the J10 that will be given?
Well, we're talking about stiffer punishments. For now, what we have is a minimum of 6 months and a maximum of 25 years.
Where in the room? Where?
Imprisonment.
Because we need to state it.
Exactly.
We need to state it clearly so that anybody
so 25 years imprisonment.
25 days.
25 years. I said years imprisonment.
Look at that.
You know what it means when you
is it for the seller or for the user?
For the dealers.
Okay.
The sellers, like I said, are sick people. They need our help.
The sellers or the buyers?
No, the users.
Okay.
The users are sick people that need help.
Okay.
But the sellers, they are the ones that were really fighting, you know. They are the ones, there's this program that was launched in 2021, War Against Drug Abuse, we call it WADA, is to go all out to fight the traffickers, the sellers, and the sellers.
Madam, I have a question before we let you go. The war against drug abuse is a global war, actually. And Nigeria is one of the, like it was reported, Nigeria is one of the country with the highest abuse of drugs. What is your advice, to young people who make up the larger population of drug abusers? What is your advice to young people concerning their perception towards drugs?
Okay. Well, my advice to young people is that they should have a mind of their own. When you have a mind of your own, you're not sitting on the fence. Even if somebody is trying to introduce you to something, you will be able to say no to it. And when you're saying no, you'll be assertive in saying no. It's not when you're saying no and your mind is there. With all this knowledge, with all this enlightenment, sensitization that is ongoing, they know the effects of all of these things. So if they want to achieve their aim in life, if they want to achieve their goal, if they want to achieve that height, then they really need to stay away from drugs.
Before I let you go, what major are your concerns at the moment?
Our concern as an agency at the moment is the rate of young ones going into it. Because the vibrancy of a nation the pace.
Okay, sorry, madam. We'll come back to your question. We'll have a caller. Good morning. Welcome to U45 Morning Show.
Good morning. This is Abiola.
Where are you calling from, Abiola?
I'm calling from Ogun State.
Ogun State. Oh, wow, wonderful. So, have your say.
Okay, so I have a question for the players.
Okay, right on,
Why
please.
is that the same government fighting against this illicit use of drug? They are still the same persons allowing people to sell drugs. That's my question.
From where did you get that?
Okay, can you come again with your question? Why is it
that the same government fighting illicit use of drugs? They are still the same persons allowing people to do the drug business.
Okay, now I think I get the question. Why is it that? Because you want to wonder how these drugs get into the country, because of course you have agencies that are supposed to check them at the borders, at the airports.
Yeah, so the traffickers. The question is addressing the traffickers.
To the country. So I think the question, better phrased, is how
the drugs coming in.
Exactly.
Well, on that, I will say that it is possible that the borders are porous, in the sense that, not that officers are not doing their job, but of course, there may just be some bad eggs, just as you mentioned, and we have some borders that NDLA officers are not there. There are some borders that NDLA officers are not there. So if drug is coming in from there, but one thing, again, I want you to know is that we work basically on information. NDLA officers are not spirits for them to know that, okay, there's drug coming in from here. But when we have information that there's drug coming in, then we always, that's why you see that you hear of our arrests and seizures. It's based on the information that are coming in. Okay, there are some that are surveillance, when we mount surveillance on some operations and we carry it out. But mostly we use information to get to our targets.
Okay, so you mentioned that in some of the borders, your men are not there. What is the agency doing to fight that challenge?
Yeah, the agency is working on it. Recently, they put our officers in some of the borders because the agency is not keeping quiet. We're speaking out. We're letting them see the need, why we have to be in all of the borders.
As an agency, as an agent, what are some of the challenges, risk that is associated with being an NDLA officer?
A lot of risk is associated with being an NDLA officer. Recently, you heard that in Imo State, some of our officers were killed. It's in the course of operation where the people in that community gather themselves to mob our officers. And that's why I said in those cases, that's when you can hear that NDLA officers shoot into the air. It's just to scare away people for us to have our way out of that vicinity. So there's really high risk on the job.
Okay, Madam, well said. Like I said, we should commend NDLA and other agencies fighting drug abuse. I mean, the question now is, in which way or in what way do you think government can further help the agency to go beyond the level it is right now, or to help reduce some of its challenges?
Well, logistics is very important. We need logistics. The agency needs funding, a lot of funding. For us to carry out our operations successfully, we need a lot of funding. And then they should also look at the welfare of the officers. New people just coming in, and the chairman, chief executive officer, charging them, hearing the word NDLA, they are already expecting that, when they come, they're going to be packing.
Expectations are high.
Their expectations are high. And so when they now come in and they see that the welfare of the officers is nothing,
write home about. They're
That's
discouraged.
what makes them to go into all of these ills. But I know that our chairman is working on it, and very soon, NDLA will smile.
Well, let's just be hopeful. At this moment, let's keep it at being optimistic that the best will be done for NDLEA and other agencies fighting drug abuse in the country. Well, viewers, this is where we'll leave the discussion about the growing menace of illicit drug in Nigeria. We'll take a short break here, and when we return, it will be time for us to look at sports and then business. Join us again. Some school of thoughts believe the major challenges confronting Nigeria as a nation is caused by poor leadership. How true is this? You and I can actually put government into tools to deliver the dividends of democracy. Join us every Saturday by 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Let us look at the issues confronting us as a nation. Together we talk heads. Nigeria can be great again. I'm Adenike Oweye Ajiboye. Keep it date.
It's Humor Hangout with Kofi the Guru, your host with the most. Ricky is a virgin. Why are you virginity?
I like food and I eat a lot, and you don't really see my body.
Where's the eat a lot?
You don't see my body, that's a special thing.
What's the female for Philip?
Philip. It can't be Philippines. It can't be Filipina.
Philomena. Paul.
Paula.
Tunde.
Tunde, no.
Like I tell people, it's for you to be great in whatever you do. You have to stay humble and believe that you are a learner.
Have you ever been asked to play a romantic role?
Of course, I've played romantic roles.
Hi, my name is Iyabojo, and you're watching Humor Hangout with Kofi the Guru.
The second half. Revolution! Moses. The long lineal line.
You're still watching U45 Morning Show, and thank God it's Friday. Well, let me quickly also thank our guests while discussing the growing menace of drug abuse in Nigeria. You remember that we had a guest, Dick Adoni. That is the Chief Superintendent of Narcotics and National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Lagos State Command. She's been able to do justice to the topic of discussion, and also a clarion call on users of hard drugs to stay away from it, because you're doing yourself a lot of harm. Right now, to keep you abreast with the happenings in the world of sports, here is Joel Wakigu, the sporting Joel. Joel, good morning.
Good morning, viewers. You welcome to U45 Morning Show. Sport train, actually. You were smiling calling my name. You seem to like that name a lot.
Well, so short, easy, and you know, I'm a simple lady that loves it. Easy does it.
Exactly. Talking about easy does it, a lot is happening in the world of sport. Right. Just yesterday, the CAF Inspector team, they stormed Port Harcourt to look at the Adoke Amasemeka Stadium, because the only surviving team in the Confederation Cup is West United, and they need a home, turf to play. And just yesterday, the team came to Port Harcourt. But yeah, they gave a good note about the stadium, but that does not mean they can't, override it. So I don't know what your take.
I thought they would be using the Akwa Ibom Stadium instead of the Port Harcourt Stadium.
And that's the reason they came to inspect the stadium if it's good enough for the game.
Well, I think the fans will miss their team in Port Harcourt. I don't know if that could affect the morale or performance of the boys. But the boys are well motivated. Hopefully, they'll be able to crush their opponents.
Yeah, I know fully well they're part of the league itself. The league just started, and they have another game to play. So it's going to be a little bit tight fixture for the team.
United. True, I agree.
You're talking about football right now and facilities. We don't have good facilities in Nigeria. And right now, the CAF inspection team, they in Nigeria just yesterday, Port Harcourt, to look at the turf. But we know we don't have when it comes to facilities, because recently we were supposed to be the host of the 2026 Cup of Nations, and it was stripped off from Nigeria. So, I mean, facilities-wise, it's zero.
It goes to justify what you have just said, because if we missed that Nations Cup, the reason is not far-fetched, because our stadium is not perfect for the game. And so it would just be for our officials to be truthful. The need for us not to always try to hide or protect ourselves from what we can see that indeed these are ills and calls for repair. What needs to be done must be done. I mean, this is one of the way the Americans will talk. What needs to be done must be done. Exactly. And I think Nigerians too should know, especially those in the sports sector, the need for them to be truthful with themselves. Exactly. Because until we are truthful, then we are not, or we will not be where we hope to be.
Anyway, away from that, Edo Queens, Robo FC and other teams will join 10 other teams to take part in the Bestie Obaseki football tournament. Serves as a pre-season for other teams to get geared up for the new NWFL league that's starting. And for it's good to know this time a whooping 60 million naira will be counted by the winner. 60 million, and run out up probably take like 30 million, 20 million. I think it's the right direction. Kudos have a lot of young girls getting play football.
Yes. Kudos to Obaseki, the Obaseki government. I think Governor Obaseki has always been passionate about women's football, especially. And I must commend him for that. Great motivation for the girls. Hopefully, they will be able to cash in on this, and we can be able to, be able to get good footballers that we can blend into our national teams.
This is an initiative by the governor's wife, Bestie Obaseki. I mean, it's awesome.
You see, this is what I've been talking about. The need for us to encourage female footballers in such a way that there's no dichotomy that because you are a male and because you are a female, you look down on them. No. What Obaseki has done is quite encouraging, and I think this is what every other governors should also do. They should take it from what he has done. Yeah. And most likely, I just hope that it's not that the First Lady herself of Edo State has also played football before, or have kind of love for female football. And so it's a good one. And I mean, at the end of her tenure, she would have been able to write her name in gold doing such a significant thing.
Anyway, away from football, talk about grassroots development, and the Rugby Association of Lagos State just didn't fit to take, look at young, from secondary school and primary school level, so they can make sure, it gets Nigeria getting more participation in rugby and other events. And the finals of the rugby tournament comes up in Bariga, CMS State, CMS Grammar School.
Interesting.
Talking about rugby, it's one sport a lot of Nigerians are really, looking into. It's kind of difficult. That's what they believe. You get injuries, break your neck and arm and all that.
Well, all I think is that every other sport can just be like the same football. It depends on the interest. It depends on the orientation. No matter how difficult something is, there's somebody somewhere that is truly interested in that particular sport.
Definitely.
So we just have to start. So this is an encouragement for those who are interested in rugby to also take an advantage of it.
We've also talked about how getting these kids from a young age and giving them participation, training them. But at some point, at some quarters, you pick them. After a while, you just let them go. I mean, it's not a good one.
Like Nick has said, the orientation, concerning rugby, is very low, in this nation. And even the sport ministry, our sport administrators, they are not throwing their weight, into other sports like rugby, like they are doing with football, and that's why we see the interest and the participation towards this sport is very low.
Exactly.
So if the sport administration can put, these systems in place that can encourage, I am so sure that there are a lot of our young people who are passionate about some sports that are not so popular just yet, and they'll be able to give it a shot.
Imagine a country like China having higher number of participation in Olympic Games and lots of games, like over 20 participation. Like Nigeria having just 9 events, which is
it's quite unfortunate.
Yeah, unfortunate.
China is using their population,
to their advantage.
To their advantage. They go into this tournament and they make sure that they have athletes in every sport. And before they are coming out with medals. That's quite, that's critical thinking.
They say that an idle mind is a devil's workshop. We have seen a lot of young minds, and some of them are just home doing nothing. I mean, when you create an opportunity for them, instead of sitting at home, instead of just being on social media, TikToking and what have you, then it means that there's something the parents can also push them into doing. I know of a certain person, a young guy that came for IT, and he was doing, while he was doing his industrial training, the mother also put him in a football academy. If we have academies of different sports, not just football, academy for basketball, academy for rugby, then you start from the secondary school. That way you have a lot of people cashing on this very sport, and before you know it, Nigeria's name will be everywhere in terms of sports.
Right. I agree with you with that. Now, lastly, my news. Somebody believed the Nigerian football team, the national team, Super Eagles, can't win the AFCON, and that person is no other person than George Abbey, former player of the Super Eagles.
Well, George Abbey is an experienced player, and he must have seen some ifs, and buts, and he must have seen certain things that made him come to that conclusion. But for me, I think it is still his opinion.
Okay.
Well, talking about his opinion, the truth of the matter is, just like you said, experience. We are in this country where there's a kind of funds that is being allocated or earmarked for the players' welfare, and at the end of the day, somebody sits on it. How do you expect them to perform well? I mean, because even the news, when it gets to the players, that there's a particular amount earmarked for your feeding, earmarked for your accommodation and whatever, and you get them low accommodation and what, that's a discouragement. So how do you expect them to play and give their best? And another thing we also need to look at is what becomes of players that we've had in Nigeria, those who have played in the past, the stars. At the end of the day, how does government treat them? What becomes of them eventually? It's right here in this country. We saw Rashidi Yakini just died, just like that. There wasn't help, no assistance, no form of financial assistance from government. So all of these things, need to be looked into. And so he's coming out to say that he's pessimistic and he believes that Nigeria will not win he knows what he's saying. It's based on what he's seen over the years.
Despite the flurry of players we have in Europe, because whether I like it or not, Nigeria has the highest export of foreign players abroad, in Central Europe and all that. But right now, he believes we don't have a team. It's just make believe. And coming also from the coaching angle, he believes US Pastor doesn't have what it takes to lead, Super Eagles and win the Cup of Nations.
From the coaching angle, I agree with George Abbey.
Okay.
I agree with him because I have always called out our current coach. He's been experimenting since he came in. We don't have a system yet. What is the style of this coach? Our boys are talented, our boys are gifted, they are performing week in, week out in their clubs. But what are they doing when it comes to the Super Eagles? So I think the sport ministry have what it takes to hire some of the best coaches out there
and create the enabling the environment,
yes,
create the atmosphere
are
for them
they
to
doing
function.
it?
You're right.
Are they prioritizing our football?
Exactly.
These are questions begging for answers.
Anyway, that's it for sports. Stay tuned for the Duke and the gang later today for Pigeon Sport 3 p.m. Bye for now.
All right, just like Sporting Joel Wankego has said, viewers, this is where we will draw the curtain on U45 Morning Show. We hope we have been able to help you start your day in a beautiful way. And then let me say, thank God it's Friday. I mean, you look very good, guys. What happened?
What do you expect? It's Friday.
Thank God it's Friday, so I just hope there's going to be a party after. Okay, oh yes, I mean, I am just in the mood of Friday, but of course we have our business segment. We're going to join our analyst, our business analyst, right about now, of course, after this break, so that we quickly look at what is happening in the world of business. So stay with us. Well, so glad to have you back. It's now time for the business segment. We're now being joined by Sheson Kwade. Good morning.
Good morning, Nickel. Good morning, Solomon, and good morning to all our viewers. Glad to be here this morning.
Nice to have you join us too. So, Sheson, this morning, we want to quickly get your views. Yes, there's a rise. The naira is now over 1,000 naira. Can you tell us what what this implies for the nation's economy?
Oh, thank you very much, Nickel. Permit me, I just have to pull over to get this done. I'm actually in transit, but when you look at the status of things, why this is the cost of foreign exchange keeps going up, is based on the fact that majority of the things that we are doing, we are not producing anything locally, and we are import dependent. So there is so much pressure, and that's just the basic principle of demand and supply. We have so much demand that is outweighing the supply of the foreign exchange. And what is the only means of generating foreign exchange is by you contributing your quota even to the global space by making available some of your goods and services, which currently the only thing you can actually boast of we are doing is the crude oil that we are doing. And when you look at the other side, you are supposed to, being an OPEC nation, refine the product locally and be able to save those foreign exchange in question. But what we see is that we still go ahead to refine the product from the offshore out of the country, and that is being putting pressure also on the foreign exchange. So these are the challenges that we are faced with until government is intentional in making sure that we have local production of some of the things we are doing in such a way to relieve the so much pressure. Practically, even the last administration opening up the system has actually put so much problem. Everybody at the comfort of your home can have access to foreign exchange, which is actually not the best. No one is regulating that arm of the government, and that's why we keep seeing the pressure on every of our activities that we are doing globally.
What we read from some of the dailies this morning, the Punch newspaper headline reads: NNPCL marketers disagree over supply as queues spread. I'm sure you are driving. From the situation, what you've seen, can you tell us? Of course, the writer says no supply from NNPCL for over 1 month. Ex-depot price hits 605 naira. This is according to Ipman. Stop panic buying. There is sufficient products. This is according to NNPCL. What do you make out of this?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Nick. It's quite interesting the way NNPC reacts to issue. We know there are two components when it comes to the production of this refined product. The price of the crude oil at the international market, which as at this morning I learned is about $92 per barrel, and also the cost of foreign exchange to bring in the refined product. As at the last time, when the price was fixed at, I think 568, the cost of naira to dollar was about 760. Morning I learned is about 1,025 naira. So if you put those two mechanisms in place, you and I will know that the cost of the landing cost of the refined product is actually on the high side, and that might actually debar the independent marketer the accessibility to get this product. It's only an NPC that is bringing in this product, and you ask yourself the question: how much of it can they distribute to the independent marketer? We keep hearing that there are so much supply in the circulation, but there is panic buying. I had to queue for about 30 minutes yesterday before I could access my car. And when you look at the cost of living of everybody, because I have activities to do, I had to fill up my tank, and I'm sure you know what that costs. That is a savings that I would have kept for myself to do other things maybe for the next 1-2 weeks. But I just have to fill up my car in order not to be saving, spending another 30-40 minutes on the queue. So government should be liberalized. It's not only the NPC that should give us the confidence that the availability of the fuel is there, but other independent marketers should have access to bringing in the fuel. And that's when we can see the competitiveness in what we are doing, not currently what we are experiencing. The NNPC is just the only one that will give us the hit up to say everything is fine.
All right, so I think this is all we can take from you this morning. Thank you so much for helping us to look at this. Just like you talked about competition, another program is competing already with our time, so we have to go. Many thanks for your time this morning. We wish you a great day.
Thank you very much, Nick, and I wish you a very blissful.
All right, thank you. Bye. All right, Guys, you heard Lucius what he said. The reality on ground, what NNPC says a lot of time, it contradicts the reality Nigerians are being faced with. Well, we just only hope that NNPC can be very truthful. You heard him, he doesn't want to be a penny say to pounds foolish, and that's why he had to, fill his tank, because he can't say what will happen in the next 1 or 2 days, because truly anything can happen in such that we do not indeed have fear as claimed by NNPC that there is fear.
So we're telling the truth now.
NNPC say we shouldn't panic buy. But our filling stations are back with the queues.
There are some filling stations that don't even have supply.
I love that they're making money, while the crisis is on, they're making money from behind.
They're making money behind. How do you mean?
In terms of black markets and all that, holding those fuel.
Holding the fuel.
Because not everyone can stand those long queues. You see guys by jerry
exactly, we see them with jerry cans selling. And Lagosians especially are always in a hurry, and so the black market guys are making money. But we have to know, we need to tell ourselves the truth. This is not the right way to go. We only hope that the appropriate quarters will be able to do the needful for Nigerians to have a fear. Well, viewers, this is where we draw the curtain on today's edition of U45 Morning Show, and we hope we've been able to make you start your day the right way. I'm Adenke Weye Ajiboye.
And I'm Joel Wakego.
I am Osage Solomon.
And from all of us, it's goodbye and enjoy your Friday.